Oh no! Does TV make you fat? No. Too much? No. I'm working on my acting skills. Yeah, but let's talk about TV and acting and pretty much everything, commercials, whatever it is included, right? So I've been thinking about it for quite a while, and I've noticed that every time I watch a burger commercial, where they show you this huge, juicy burger that is like, I don't know, it's just flowing with juices and it's big and it's like looking so good. And every time after I watch commercial, I start craving burgers. Usually I don't watch TV. And it happened recently where I started watching a few shows and on the platform that you can pay less and you can watch commercials, and you can pay more without commercials. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pay less. I mean, I can watch a couple commercials. But apparently it's not good for my diet because I start craving stuff that they show you. So all this, I don't even like Reese's peanut butter. The way they show it, I'm like, whoa, that looks amazing. I might want to try that. So, apparently it's not good for my diet to watch commercials. And there's a reason behind it, because the way they do commercials, these companies, they spend probably thousands, maybe millions of dollars. I don't know the budgets, but the budgets are pretty big for those commercials. They do a lot of research. They hire specialists that, know how to make the consumer want to buy stuff. And that's why they do like big juicy images, right? Where you look at this image and your mouth start watering and you start craving this food even though you didn't want it before, and maybe your body doesn't want it, but when you see it like this and like big and juicy, you're like, whoa, I want this. So there's a lot of money behind it, and they're paying a lot of money to specialists to actually make it. They use NLP techniques. They use, all this research that they do on people. They spend millions of dollars on marketing, and they're very good at it, and that's why they're very successful, and that's why we want to eat all the stuff they're trying to, show us, right? Even though you might not like burgers, like for me, like you might not eat burgers all the time, but after watching, you're like, yeah, I'm on that. Let me order right now. so, so yes, TV is affecting what you eat. The same with movies. Have you noticed, like I started noticing where I watch movies, and most of the movies where people go through challenging times, right? They have when they go through big breakup, they have a bucket of ice cream, and I'm like, oh, that ice cream looks good. So next time I feel kind of down, I'm like, okay, I want ice cream, and then I'm like, okay, I saw it in the movie, and then I want a bucket of ice cream. There is a correlation with this, right? Because when we watch a movie, we want to identify with people in the movie. We want to be, it's a pack mentality where we want to be similar to people that close to us, that we are identified with, right? So it's totally normal, it's totally natural, but you gotta watch out for that, because that affects your, subconscious settings, where your subconscious is like, okay, this dude that we like, or this gal that we like on this TV, and we identify with her feelings and her emotions. While she's stressed out or while she's sad, she's eating a bucket of ice cream. So next time, good tip, right? Our subconscious remembers everything. Good tip. We gotta do the same things. It's very important to be aware of these things, right? Or I've noticed, I started watching this TV series, and it's about, I think it was about lawyers, and I noticed that they're very powerful, they're very confident, right? And I'm like, okay, I want to be powerful, I want to be confident, I want to be like them, right? And they're drinking a lot, and that's what they show in the TV series, right? Every time they talk, they drink alcohol. Every time they talk, they drink. And I don't drink often. I drink on occasion. I had an issue before. I had addiction before, so I'm trying to be mindful about drinking. But I'm noticed like, okay, I crave alcohol every time after I watch the show. And for me, it's like, okay, that's not the way it should be, right? Or I see like those characters in the movie, they get stressed out during a certain conversation where it gets heated, right? Or they talk to a very good friend where they discuss something and with a scotch, right? Or something like this. And I'm like, okay, well, that looks very cool. I want to be cool like them. And that's why I start craving alcohol, even though I didn't want it before. So all of these things are getting in our brain because we identify with those characters. We see those commercials. We want to have the same thing that other people have, right? The people that we see probably successful. The same works with social media, right? Not even TV, social media is the same thing. If you see your favorite influencer eating certain burger, of course you want that burger, because you want to be like them. You want to be like this person. And I see it in kids, even my kid, right? So he's like, okay, so he has his allowance money, and I was asking him what he wants to spend it on. And he's like, okay, I want that burger that this influencer recommended, and I want to order it online, and I want it the same way. And that's the way it works. That's the way they sell it to you. And that affects your eating habits. And maybe you don't want that burger, right? But once you see it on TV and they use all these millions they spend to actually sell it to you, to make it so amazing, to make it so delicious on the screen, that no matter what you do, you start craving it. And that's mind reprogramming. So that's how they reprogram your mind in order for you to buy their product. They use NLP techniques, they use a bunch of research, as I mentioned before, they use tons of resources, millions of dollars, hundreds of people working on it in order to sell you something. And that's why you crave it, that's why you want it. But most people don't realize that the way it works. And I want you to know this, because once you start realizing, okay, after watching this commercial, I want burger, do I really want burger? Or is it because I watched this commercial, right? So you gotta be aware of what's going on. Once you're aware of what's going on, you're like, I don't know. I didn't want burger before, and I saw this amazing image on the commercial and it looks amazing, but do I really want it? And usually I sit on it. I usually wait until the next day or until a couple of days pass by, and then if I still keep thinking about it, then like, okay, then my body wants it, then I get it, and I don't feel bad about it. It's juicy, it's huge, it's amazingly delicious. Because if your body really wants it, it's amazingly delicious for you. And I've noticed sometimes when I don't want certain foods, right? When let's say you saw a commercial, you went and bought the burger and you start eating, you're like, doesn't taste that good. It looked way better in the commercial, but once you start eating, it's like, I don't know. That means your body didn't want it. You just didn't try to listen. You didn't ask yourself a question like, do I really want it, or is it someone selling me something and someone affecting my mind and my, someone is influencing you, right? Someone is tricking you into buying it. And that's what I don't like. I don't like when people tell me what to do. I don't like when people reprogram my mind. That's why I get very defensive about it. That's why I try to tell you this as well, because that's not nice. I mean, my body doesn't want that burger, and you make it so juicy and irresistible and delicious. Yeah, I'm gonna ask myself 100 times before I actually buy it, because I know that's the system and that's the way it works, and I know they want me to buy it, and sometimes I buy it, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't, because after a couple of days pass by, I'm like, no, I don't want it. Even the next day, I usually sleep on it. Sleep on it, next day I remember about the burger, sure, I'll get it. I don't remember about the burger, My motto in life, sleep on it. Because even if I buy anything else in life, especially big purchases, it's the most important role, sleep on it. Because sometimes people try to affect you, and sometimes it works, and sometimes you want to do it, but once you sleep on it, you're like, no, that's not actually the way I really want to do it. Another thing that I wanted to talk about TV and how it affects your eating habits and your weight is when you watch TV, when people watch TV, and I used to do it all the time, and I still do it sometimes. I know I shouldn't be doing it. But sometimes I give myself that weakness. That bad habits of eating while watching TV or while being on the phone, right? So eating and watching, not a good combination. And yes, I do it once in a while, and I try to pick products and food that won't affect my weight too much. But and sometimes I do eat a burger or something. It doesn't really matter, but yes, when you eat, your brain doesn't recognize it. When you eat and watch, your brain doesn't recognize that you eat. You're just watching, you're paying attention what's going on the screen, you're all distracted, you're all in the scene, right? So your brain doesn't realize how much it is until like you finish the movie, you're like, okay, I can't move and I can't breathe. Time to don't take off my pants, right? So distracted eating, it's yes, so you like I know even myself, I can eat tons of food that I would normally wouldn't eat while eating normally without TV, right? I can eat tons of food while I watch TV. And yes, if I go to movies or sometimes at night, like at home with a movie night, we'll get a bucket of popcorn and I'll finish it all and then get more snacks. And then I feel very heavy and not so good the day after and also at night. But once in a while, it's okay. Like I allow myself this weakness. But if you're doing it constantly, you're constantly overeating because your brain doesn't recognize how much you're eating. Your brain until you finish that movie or you finish that TV show, right? So it doesn't recognize what's going on in your body, and it puts too much pressure in your system. So in this case, yeah, it's the same thing as I was talking before. TV makes you fat because you're overeating and your brain doesn't register how much you eat because it's doing something else. It's watching the movie, right? It's getting wrapped in the movie and the characters and everything else, and that's why it's not controlling how much you eat and it's not stopping you when you need to stop. So it's very important when you're doing intuitive eating or any kind of eating to not to eat when you watch TV or when you're on the phone or when you're reading. I'm also guilty of that. I love to read, and eating while reading also pretty cool, but I try not to do it, and I try to restrict myself because I know that I won't feel good after because I overeat and then I feel heavy and then it puts too much pressure on my whole digestive system and then it's just not so good. Another big one to watch out for, and that's very powerful one, it's news. Oh, don't get me started on news. I haven't been watching TV, I don't know, for probably already 5 or 6 years. I don't watch TV. I don't have TV in my room. I know some people have TV in their bedroom. I don't watch it when I go to sleep. Like sometimes, once in a while, I watch Netflix or I watch other streaming, right? Because I like a TV show and I really like to watch it. But when it comes to commercials, I try to do without commercials. And when it comes to news, I do news online and only certain sources that don't put too much pressure on you, don't put you in this fight or flight response where you freak out and then it affects your whole system, your whole life. I mean, watching news is important. It's important, but your mental health is also important, and your body and your eating habits also important. So why news are related to eating? You don't see it like naturally you won't see correlation, right? I'm watching news and eating, like if what where do they connect, right? It doesn't make sense. No, it will make sense in a couple of minutes. Okay, let me explain. So news are there to keep us watching. So the way they make the news, the programming, right? They want you to watch as long as possible. That's how they make money. So basically, the whole point of showing you news is to make money, right? So the more you watch, the longer you watch, the more money they make on commercials and everything. So you know the system. So they discovered, and again, they spend the same like with TV shows, the same with like commercials. They spend millions of dollars and a bunch of marketing resources, team research, and everything to figure out why people watch and what they're attracted to, and they go deep into psychological reasoning why people watch news and what they're attracted to. And the number one technique they use in news is to scare you, because when people are scared, they can, like, sometimes I know I live in LA, so there's there's a lot of traffic and there's stuff happening, right? Sometimes car crashes. And have you noticed that when there's a car crash, like you naturally turn that way. You naturally want to look, even though you know that you don't want to look, you don't want to see something negative, right? You don't want to see something scary, but your head is turning and you're like, I gotta see it. And that's your subconscious mind is looking out for you, because your subconscious mind wants to know if it's dangerous for you, and if it's important, then it will try to protect you and you react in a certain way, right? That's why when we experience fear, we cannot look away and we cannot stop watching, because we get in this state of fight or flight response. And when we get into a state of fight or flight response, people tend to process it differently. Depending on the situation, if you can, when fight or flight is when you stress out, when you release the stress hormones, when you need to do something about scary situation, right? But when we watch it on TV, it's not happening to us in the moment, right? But we still experience those hormones. So our body is trying to process it. And since we cannot do anything, we're not fighting, we're not flying, we're not running away, right? We're sitting there and watching. Our body needs to do something because there's stress hormones. And a lot of people tend to eat when they're stressed in order to calm themselves down. So that's why I'm linking news or watching news constantly all the time to overeating, because when people get stressed out, some people tend to eat more and they start eating because they cannot do anything, right, to change the situation. They see something bad happening on the news and like they in constant state of fear and like, I don't know what to do, I'm scared, I don't know, like subconscious is freaking out, like maybe I should go calm myself. And many people calm themselves by eating, and that's why they're like, okay, I'm gonna snack this, I'm gonna eat this, and they start overeating, not even noticing, because they are in constant states of fear. So I know it's stressful, and for that reason I don't watch the news, because a few months ago, I was sitting in the airport, and that's why I don't watch news on the TV. And in the airport they have a bunch of screens and they show you news on the background, just going. And it was so strange because I couldn't look away. I was like this, sitting, and I was like, and it just going, and I see it's going in my mind, and my mind starts freaking out, and I can't look away. And I'm like, okay, I need to eat something because I feel so stressed and I don't know what to do, and it's so scary. And I'm telling you, after watching this for 10 minutes, then I distract myself with conversation because I knew I couldn't handle it anymore. My mind, my mental health was already affected. Like, I was stressed and I was starting getting depressed because I saw so much negative information. And it's not even about negative information, right? Because negative stuff happens all the time, and it's good to be aware of what's going on, but at the same time they put it in such a way where they make you feel this fear, where they make you watch more, where they make you in this state of anxiety, right? This state of fear, because they spend millions of dollars in order to create this. They know how to do it. They're professionals at this. They want you to watch longer and longer. But it's not only affecting your diet, it's affecting your life, it's affecting your mental health. So I've noticed 5 years without watching news, I feel way better, because before I was stressed out, I was constantly anxious, I was constantly struggling, and now my life changed. And yes, I can get news in a different way, not when they try to force you into this constant state of fear and watching. So here are the 3 ways that TV, or maybe more ways, I don't know, I didn't count. That's what I wanted to talk about, because I've noticed, like, from my life, and I've noticed that many people are going through it. So I wanted to make sure that everyone is aware of it, because once you're aware, you can change it. And once you're aware, you know that this is happening, and you can make a conscious choice to react in a certain way. So if you see juicy burger, it doesn't, like, you know that your subconscious might want it, but you may ask yourself a few times before you actually order it, do I want it or not, right? So you make a conscious choice to take care of your body, and not to sell out and buy this burger because these people are forcing you to buy, right? I mean, I'm saying forcing, not, they're not really forcing you, but they're spending millions of dollars so you buy this burger. Yeah, it's kind of manipulation for me. So that's why I don't like to be manipulated. That's why it was so important for me to share this. So again, I was talking about problems, and I talked about a little bit about solutions. So solutions, yes, just find a good source of news where you don't get in state of flight of light, when you don't get a state of fear, when you don't have to watch it 24/7, when it doesn't go through your subconscious mind, because it puts you in a very negative state where you can start eating unconsciously just to calm yourself down, and that's not the way you should be doing it. Also, similar, try not to watch commercials if you can. So try to subscribe certain streaming services where there's no commercials, because commercials affect your life. I'm sorry. They're made the way they affect your feelings, they affect your emotions, they use different manipulation techniques in order for you to buy their service. And those professionals, they know what they do. Those professionals, they are very good at it, because they make millions on doing that. So you don't know anything about it. They know everything about you and about their consumers. So it's a little bit scary the way it works. So yeah, try to just avoid it and see how it changes your life. See, maybe you'll stop craving that food that you usually eat all the time. Not good for you. And it might change your life. I mean, it will change your life, because I've seen in so many people, once they stop watching TV, your mentality changes, your mental health changes, your mind changes completely, and your eating habit changes. This is the same way, because you don't get constant, download of this information where they only advertise you candies and, burgers, candies, and, all this unhealthy food. So try to watch something like without commercials. And also, everyone knows this, be aware of eating and watching TV at the same time, because your mind is focused on the show, your mind is focused on the movie, your mind is not controlling what's going on. You just do it automatically, like boom, 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 and you overeating, because there's no control stuff going on. You're not listening to your body, and you're not getting in, like, am I full, I'm not full. Just keep eating, and that affects your entire system. So try not to eat and watch. First eat and then you can go watch the movie. And I know if you have a habit like this where you eat and watch, I know how hard it is to give up. Because you're used to it, and it's so comforting, and it's so natural for you to do it. And I know, and I still sometimes do it. I make my own decisions, and once in a while, if I watch a movie, I do it and I'm okay with it. But if you're doing it all the time, it definitely affects your eating habits. It definitely affects your weight because, yeah, you're already eating. That's it. It's simple as that. And in the comments below, I know I didn't talk about more things maybe that you notice in your life. So share in the comments below what's happening in your life, how TV is affecting your life, how TV is affecting your weight, right? So I know I've mentioned the TV shows, I've mentioned, commercials, but maybe you have other tips that will help other people that will change their life, right? Because it's very important to share what we know. If we share, then other people see it and they get this information, they can change their life as well. So let's share in the comments, or if you don't have any tips, then just share your experiences and how it works in your life. If news affecting your life, if commercials affecting your life, try to notice and let me know in the comments, because it's always exciting to get your feedback. It's always exciting to have those conversations. I'm really excited for it. Make sure to subscribe and follow if you want more videos about this, and I try to post regular, so I'm very excited to post new videos. And if I see likes, if I see that, if I see engagement, I'm like, okay, I'm very excited to do new video. I'm very excited to connect with you guys, and I'm very excited to do more stuff. So it's very motivational for me. So just let me know in the comments, hit like, subscribe. I'm so excited to see you here, and I'll see you in the next video.